हरे कृष्ण। तो आज का हमारा स्पेशल सेशन है किसके ऊपर? न्यू ईयर रेजोल्यूशंस। न्यू ईयर रेजोल्यूशंस। So once Srila Prabhupada was giving a class in New York in 1966. So he said, we can appreciate the preciousness of life, we can appreciate the preciousness of time according to how we appreciate the preciousness of every moment that we live. You understand the statement of Prabhupada? He says, we can appreciate the preciousness of life and time according to how we appreciate the preciousness of every moment that we are living. So, what is the life? Life is a combination of moments. You understand? Time is what? Combination of seconds, then combination of minutes, then combination of hours, then combination of days, then combination of months, then combination of years. That is time. So, if we focus on the preciousness of each moment that we are living, then our life will definitely make a sense. But if we just let these moments go away as running water, just like you have turned a tap on and the water is running, if you let these moments that you are currently living, if you let it go, Prabhupada says in the same lecture that with unlimited quantity of gold of this entire universe, you cannot buy back that moment. That moment is that precious, every moment that you are living. And every moment that you are living is a sign of deterioration. It's a sign of deterioration. Prabhupada says in the same lecture, time is so powerful. It is so powerful. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Kalo Asmi, time I am, the destroyer of everything. Why I focus so much on this particular shloka? It's 11th chapter, 32nd verse. Kalo Asmi Lokashaya. Time I am, the destroyer of everything. And here everyone will be slain except you, O 5 Pandavas. Except you, 5 of you, everyone will be slain. Only the devotees will be saved. So time is so powerful that it is in the process of extinguishing the sun. It is in the process of drying all the oceans and the rivers. It is in the process of, taking everything towards deterioration. Time is so powerful. What to talk of the small little body that we have? Will it not go towards deterioration? Yes, it will. It will for sure, it will go. So, the non-devotees and the devotees. The non-devotees are those who waste their times on unnecessary scrolling on the social media. See, these moments that you are using on social media, maybe chatting with some girlfriend or some boyfriend or someone, like whatever you are doing, that is not connected to Krishna, that moment is like approaching death. And Prabhupada says in the same lecture, that the moments that are spent in reading about Krishna, hearing about Krishna, and chanting the names of Krishna. Those moments are the life. That's what Prabhupada says in this lecture. Rest all the moments that you are spending, it's just that you are waiting for the upcoming death. Upcoming death. We are waiting for it. Some people will celebrate tonight by thoroughly being intoxicated with the drinks and drugs. They will enter into the new year. Some people will start tonight, start the new year like that. While some people, like some businessmen, how will they spend today's day? They will just spend in checking out, like during the year, during the complete year, what profits I have made, what all faults I have done in running my business, and how I should improve it. How I should ensure that this is not repeated. The mistakes that I have made in the business in the last year, the same mistakes are not repeated. And some people will spend tonight just by being intoxicated and dancing here and there, and half of them will be caught by police on the roads, and then there will be challans, and then they will be paying money, bribes, and all that nonsense is going to happen, and with that they are going to enter the new year. While the spiritualists, the devotees, they look back on this day. They look back from the purview of spirituality. They look back that what were the habits during this year that were taking me away from Krishna, that were taking me away from the repeat, that were taking me away from my real goal, getting rid of this repeated cycle of birth and death. How many people think that? Practically, very little number of people, very small number of people. How you should spend your year, how you should spend today's day, how devotees should spend. Pick up a pen and paper and write down what all you think are shortcomings in you. Not materially, spiritually, because of which you are holding yourself back in the clutches of Maya, and because of which it's decisive that you will continue in this material world forever. The day is for introspection. This day, this 31st December, is for introspection and for some resolutions. That how to change the upcoming year, what all steps I need to take. Do I make sense? So, some time should be spent today, some half an hour. Sit down with a pen and paper. Introspect and write. What all habits have taken me away from Krishna? What all habits have ruined my spiritual life? And how I have to overcome it now. It's the time. One more year is gone. It's just like I was just discussing with my wife yesterday. We were just discussing, we were having a word, and I was just saying that अभी तो न्यू ईयर आया था, थोड़े टाइम पहले ही लग रहा था कि न्यू ईयर, अभी इतनी जल्दी फिर से न्यू ईयर. So time is just running very fast at the speed of, you can say, hurricane, very fast speed of time. So that's what Prabhupada says in this lecture. The time is so powerful that it is in the process of extinguishing the sun, drying up all the oceans and rivers, what to speak of our little bodies. However wealthy I am, however powerful I am, however influential I am, however famous I am, however skilled I am, however learned I am, time devours everything. It has to end. Who is alive? Is Mahatma Gandhi alive? No. Is Indira Gandhi alive? No. They were considered best among the people in their times. But now time has devoured everything. It's over. So someday similarly, Kalo Asmi, Krishna will come in the form of death. So we should make the situations in the upcoming life in a way that, such situations should not arise that we do not have a chance to regret. When time comes and say, okay, it's time, let's move on. Leave this body. Move to the next one. It's going to happen very soon. On the ground of eternity, eternity means infinite on both ways. Neither this time has beginning, nor this time will have an end. On the ground of eternity, if you see, it is infinite this way also, it is infinite this way also. Both ways it is infinite. The small range of 60, 70, 80 years is very, very small time. On the ground of eternity, science students will understand what is infinity. Infinity both the ways. It never started and it will never end. And this life of 60, 70 years is just like petty, very petty thing in front of that eternity. And this petty time, if it is utilized intelligently, and you will be happy infinitely. And this petty time, if wasted in your own lethargy, okay, let me sleep, okay, let me enjoy, okay, time has not come, I will do bhakti sometime later, okay, let me see TV right now, okay, let me scroll the Instagram reels or Facebook reels, let me spend some time on this minute time on the ground of eternity of some 70 to 80 years, just this 67, the ground of eternity, on the ground of eternity, this 60 to 70 years, you are continuously spending on being unhappy to the infinite. Means you will leave this body. When you leave this body, you will be unhappy for infinite time. Why infinite time? Because we never know when we are going to get back this association of devotees in the upcoming lives. Understand? So we should be very serious about utilizing each and every moment. 1 year has passed, 2024 has come. One more year will pass, 2025 will come. One more year will pass, 2026 will come. And soon you will start deteriorating. Sometimes the influence of time is imperceptible. You understand? You cannot perceive. You understand the meaning of imperceptible? Imperceptible means something that moves very slowly, gradually. So the effect of time, if you see between the difference between what you are today and what you will be tomorrow and what you will be day after, hardly any change on your face, on your hands, on your body, hardly any change. So you understand, this is Maya. You understand that you cannot perceive because the time is affecting so slowly, so gradually that we cannot perceive the time, the effect of time. We cannot perceive the effect of time. I can say like that. You understand what I want to say? It's moving, it's changing you so slowly like a slow poison. किसी को स्लो पॉइजन देना शुरू कर दो तो ऐसा तो नहीं उसका इमीडिएट डेथ हो जाएगा. स्लो पॉइजन धीरे 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 इफेक्ट दिखाएगा. टाइम इज लाइक दैट, स्लो पॉइजन. हम आज और कल और परसों में शायद कोई डिफरेंस ना देखें, शायद एक साल में भी कोई खास डिफरेंस ना देखें, बट ओवर 7, 8, 9, 10 years time will show its effect gradually at a very slow speed. Like what you are today, maybe 1 year बाद एक छोटा सा यहाँ पे कुछ चेंज आ गया आपके फेस पे, बस. फिर 1 year बाद थोड़ा सा कोई निशान आ गया, बस. इतना ग्रेजुअल होता है. और वो निशान भी जो है वो बहुत स्लोली इतना ग्रेजुअल होता है कि हम ये परसीव ही नहीं. अगर कोई ऐसा हो आज जवान है कल बुढ़ा हो गया, वो तो बहुत क्विकली परसीव करेगा टाइम को, बहुत अच्छे से समझ पाएगा टाइम क्या है. हमारे साथ प्रॉब्लम यही तो माया का जाल है कि जो टाइम है उसकी परसेप्शन बहुत स्लो है. हमें मतलब वो इतना स्लोली हमें चेंज करता है कि हम परसीव ही नहीं कर पाते दैट इट इज गोइंग अवे, इट्स रनिंग. It's imperceptible, but we should understand, yet it is moving forward. We cannot perceive, yet it is moving forward, and yet it is taking us towards deterioration. One more year will pass, and the situations will remain the same. If we don't try to work hard to improve ourselves in getting rid of this repeated cycle of birth and death. Now, how we should respect time? Like when you enter the temple hall and you go in front of deities, what do? Do you start shouting? No. Do you start screaming? Do you start fighting? Do you do such things when you go in front of deities? No. What happens over there? We keep quiet. We keep absolutely quiet. Peacefully we have darshans. We glorify the Lord. We offer obeisances. We do all that. Because especially over there in front of altar in the temple, we feel the personal presence of Krishna. The personal presence of God and Sai. We feel that. So we should not do such things in front of altar. But in Bhagavad Gita, the same Krishna is saying, Kalo Asmi, time I am. So if you are offering respect to that deity, why you are not offering respect to time? Why you are wasting it? That is also Krishna. Every moment that you are living is Krishna. Krishna declares it in Bhagavad Gita, 11th chapter, 32nd verse. So if you are ready to respect that deity, then you should respect that deity is only saying, what? Kalo Asmi. I am time, the destroyer. So this is how we should respect time, as if the deity is personally present, always around. How we respect each and every moment of our life. How we respect each and every moment of our life, that will decide the quality of our life. As you go in Srimad Bhagavatam, if you have Veda base, you can open Srimad Bhagavatam, 2nd canto. All of you have mobiles? So you can open Srimad Bhagavatam, 2nd canto and 3rd chapter. Srimad Bhagavatam, 2nd canto, 3rd chapter and 17th verse. 2nd canto, 3rd chapter, 17th verse. Let us recite this one. आयुर्हरति वैपुंसाम. निकाल रहे हैं अभी कि निकल गया? आयुर्हरति वैपुंसाम उद्यम अस्तम चयन अशो तस्यर्ते यत क्षणो नित्ता उत्तम श्लोका वराटया. आयुर्हरति वैपुंसाम उद्यन अस्तम चयन अशो तस्यर्ते यत क्षणो निता उत्तम श्लोका वार्तया. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki. Both by rising and setting. This is Srimad Bhagavatam, the topmost, the 18th Puran, the topmost among 18 Purans. What does it say? Both by rising and by setting, the sun decreases the duration of life of everyone. Udyan Astam. Both by rising, Udyan means rising and Astam means setting. Both by rising and setting. Asho means sun. Udyan Astam Chayan Asho. Whenever you waste time, you should go to this shlok. You should memorize. This is a very prominent shlok of Srimad Bhagavatam. Both by rising and setting sun, the sun decreases the duration of life of everyone, except, everyone's duration of life is getting decreased, except one who utilizes this time, iska duration of life is not getting decreased. Such a person is approaching towards life. Except whom? Except one who utilizes the time by discussing the topics of the all-pervading personality of God. someone who utilizes the time in discussing what? Krishna Katha. For him, sun is not decreasing the duration of life. Instead, such a person is approaching life. How? Because such a person will get rid of the repeated cycle of birth and death and will go into eternal life where there is no death. Such a person who is spending his moment intelligently in understanding Krishna, oh, let me read all books given by Prabhupada at least once in this life. Do you have that target? Very few of us. Let me read all the Vaishnava literature at least once during my lifetime. Do we have that target? No. Practically, I see many of you who are maybe associated since 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. How much you have read? Have you completed Srimad Bhagavatam first canto? No. Have you completed Bhagavad Gita? Maybe many of you know. Will you die like that? Without completing Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam? It's all over. Continue in the cycle of birth and death after this. You should have some targets in life. Like I have seen some devotees taking up this exercise in some senior devotees. I saw very beautiful registers they have made. And how they are utilizing their time is, I felt very inspired to see this. One of the very senior devotees, a disciple of His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj. I felt very inspired when I saw all this happening. And from there I also took the inspiration, but still I'm struggling with it. I'm trying to. So, what was he doing? He had written the date that on this date I had started chanting 16 rounds. Alright. And I was born on this date. This is my date of birth. And this is the date I started chanting 16 rounds. Okay. So, with the initiation from my Guru, I have taken this vow to chant 16 rounds daily now. I will continue for my whole life. But what about my life before the date when I had started chanting? I didn't chant before that. Oh, let me complete the chanting of those years also. So how this person is managing, how this devotee is managing? He has made a register. He has written his date of birth. My date of birth is, say, 10th September 1990. Okay, how many rounds I have done today extra? I have done 5 rounds. 10th September 1990, 2 rounds, 5 rounds done. Plus, next day. How many rounds I have done extra? 3 rounds. 10th September 1990, 3 rounds done. Like that, 10th September 1990, 16 rounds complete. Go to 11th September with your extra rounds. Like that, you are not just fulfilling the vow that is given to Guru after Diksha. You are fulfilling this vow for your entire life. This is how we should use time. So both by rising and by setting, the sun decreases the duration of life of everyone, except one who utilizes by discussing the topics of all-pervading personality of Godhead. This is very important to understand. Once His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj was saying that there is nothing really meaningful to live for if you don't have a person in your life for whom you are ready to die for. And who is that person? Some spiritual personality, the Guru level personalities. You don't have anything really meaningful to live for if you don't have a person in your life for whom you are ready to die for. कोई ऐसा व्यक्ति अगर आपके जीवन में नहीं है जिसके लिए आप मरने के लिए भी तैयार हो, तो आपके जीवन में जीने लायक कुछ मीनिंगफुल नहीं है. So we should understand, under the guidance of such a person for whom you are ready to die for, we should utilize the time. And like that, Krishna will not come as a death. Krishna will come as life. Kadam Kanan Maharaj, when he left the body, he had a smiling face. Generally we see people dying and having very bad faces. क्योंकि तड़प बहुत ज़्यादा तड़प रहे होते हैं. How many of you have heard the last words of Kadam Kanand Maharaj? There's that 10 minutes video he had recorded, and he had specifically asked his secretary that play this video. He had recorded that video just 2 days before leaving. He was suffering from cancer. He left his body just 2 days. He left his body. When he left his body, just 2 days before he recorded this video, and he asked his secretary, see what kind of mentality devotees have. He asked his secretary, play this for everyone once I leave the body. This is spiritual consciousness. एक materialist को बोल दो ना, वो तो डर ही जाएगा बॉडी के छोड़ने के नाम से. Kadam Kanand Maharaj himself, how people can have such consciousness during the last days when they have utilized their time during the life intelligently, then they can have such consciousness. And if you see in Goshala, in ISKCON Vrindavan, there is Goshala. I think many of you have gone there. In Goshala, there is a place where there is Samadhi of all the Vaishnavas, senior Vaishnavas of ISKCON. It was decided when Kadam Kanand Maharaj was alive, he was about to leave his body. Just few days before, it was decided that where Kadam Kanand Maharaj will be given Samadhi, where his body will be laid when he leaves the body. And Kadam Kanand Maharaj himself went with his secretary to that place, and he was instructing, okay, place my body facing this direction, okay, keep this support. He was telling everything, that this is how you have to do once I leave this body. He was not afraid. It proves that he was not afraid. हमारे जैसा पर्सन तो डर ही जाएगा. कौन नहीं डरता? कालो अस्मि. कृष्णा says, time I am the destroyer. कृष्णा को कुछ लोग देखते हैं डिस्ट्रॉयर के फॉर्म में, और कुछ लोग देखते हैं लाइफ के फॉर्म में. कौन देखते हैं डिस्ट्रॉयर के फॉर्म में कृष्णा को? जिन्होंने अपने टाइम को अच्छे से वेस्ट किया होता है, बर्बाद किया होता है उल्टे सीधे कामों में. और कौन देखते हैं कृष्णा को लाइफ के फॉर्म में? स्माइलिंगली दे एम्ब्रेस द डेथ, एम्ब्रेस इट. कौन देखते हैं? जिन्होंने हैप्पी न्यू ईयर करके सिर्फ डांस नहीं किया होता, जिन्होंने एक्चुअली में न्यू ईयर को हैप्पी बनाने का कोशिश किया होता. Understand? So I would like to read some lines from the purport of this shloka. Just 1 second. You have this shloka open, no? Okay, I will read from here. So the time indicated, मिल गया second line here. So the time indicated by the sunrise and sunset will be uselessly wasted if such a time is not properly utilized for realizing identification of spiritual values. Even a fraction of duration of life wasted cannot be compensated by any amount of gold. Human life is simply awarded to a living entity so that he can realize his spiritual identity. And read this line again. Human life is simply awarded to a living entity so that he can realize his spiritual identity. Is human life given to you for earning money? Is human life given to you for taking big degrees? Is human life given to you for going to clubs? Is human life given to you for drinking, eating, drinking and be merry? खाओ पियो मौज करो. Is human life given for this? No. What our Shastra says? Human life is simply awarded so that he can realize, because in other forms of life, in animalistic life, you cannot realize the spiritual identity. Human life is simply awarded, this line is extremely important, human life is simply awarded to a living entity so that he can realize his spiritual identity and his permanent source of happiness. Happy New Year. Permanent source of happiness. A living being, especially the human being, is seeking happiness because happiness is the natural situation of the living entity. But he is vainly seeking happiness in the material atmosphere. A living being is constitutionally a spiritual spark of complete whole, and his happiness can be perfectly perceived in the spiritual activities. Happiness, satisfaction, satiation, everything will happen when you go for spirituality. If you take out second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, and where Arjun asks Krishna, just 1 second. In the second, you can take out Bhagavad Gita, second chapter. I want to discuss few verses from that. Just keep the text page open. I mean, you need not go into shlokas. I will just tell you from where we are reading. Text 54. Sthita Pragya. Text 54, second chapter. From here I will be reading few verses and we will discussing just the translations. Second chapter, 54th verse. Arjun said, O Krishna, what are the symptoms of one whose consciousness is thus merged in transcendence? Is there something very urgent? Haribol, something very urgent? अभी रुक जाओ. अच्छा, संडे फेस्टिवल से लानी. अयोध्या प्रभु से बात कर लो. Arjun said, O Krishna, what are the symptoms of one whose consciousness is thus merged in transcendence? Sthita Pragya. इसके लिए संस्कृत में क्या वर्ड यूज हुआ है? स्थित प्रज्ञा. How does he speak? कैसे वो बोलता है? And what is his? कितना माइन्यूटली अर्जुन हर चीज पूछ रहे हैं. हम पूछते हैं? हम तो जैसे मन करता भक्त को उठा के बोल देते हैं. अर्जुन पूछ रहे हैं कि जिसका कॉन्शियसनेस आप में मर्ज्ड है भगवान, वो कैसे बात करता है, किस भाषा में बात करता है, व्हाट इज हिज लैंग्वेज, हाउ डज ही सिट, वो बैठता कैसे, एंड हाउ डज ही वॉक. कितना माइन्यूटली पूछ रहे, बैठेगा कैसे, चलेगा कैसे. कृष्णा सेज द सुप्रीम पर्सनालिटी ऑफ गॉड सेड, टेक्स्ट 55. एवरीवन इज ओपन इन दिस, खोला बना है. इन टेक्स्ट 55, सुप्रीम पर्सनालिटी ऑफ गॉड, ओ पार्थ, when a man gives up all varieties of desire for sense gratification, which arises from material concoction. See, definitely the desires for sense gratification will come. Now you have two options. You contemplate on it or you don't contemplate. If you contemplate on it, you know what is the meaning of contemplation? Thinking about it. A desire has come. Oh, let me have sex. If you contemplate on it, you will end up doing it. But if you don't think much about it, you just keep it as a passing thought. Let it will pass. It comes in your mind from this side. It enters. You let it go from this side. It will be over within few minutes. It comes in your mind from this side. You use your entire machinery in processing that. Whole machinery. Then you will end up getting into it. Let it come, let it pass. That is what Krishna is saying. O Parth, when a man gives up all varieties of desire for sense gratification, from where the desire for sense gratification comes, what Krishna says, which arise from mental concoction. Why do you feel like gratifying the senses? Because you contemplate, Krishna says, because you think about it too much. Where were we? Which arise from mental concoction, and his mind, thus purified, finds satisfaction in self alone, then he is said to be in pure transcendental consciousness. Text 56. One who is not disturbed in mind, even amidst the threefold miseries, or elated when there is happiness, and who is free from attachment, fear and anger, is called Sthita Pragya, is called a sage of steady mind. Who's the sage of steady mind? Come on. One who is not disturbed in mind even amidst the threefold miseries. समझ सा नहीं आया प्रभु जी, अपने लिए प्रैक्टिकल नहीं लग रहा. वन हु इज नॉट डिस्टर्ब्ड इन माइंड, बहुत बड़ा कुछ हो गया हमारी लाइफ में और हम फिर भी डिस्टर्ब ना रहे. हाउ इज इट पॉसिबल प्रभु जी? आई कैन गिव यू वन एग्जाम्पल ऑफ दिस. आई हैव सीन स्थित प्रज्ञा पीपल, आई हैव पीपल ऑफ स्टडी माइंड. There was when this lady was a devotee, one couple in fact. Husband is also a good devotee, but wife is really surrendered to Krishna. So all of a sudden, few days ago, there was this fire in Sector 9 Ready Market. A huge fire had occurred during the night time. सबको पता होगा ना, 9 सेक्टर की मार्केट, रेडी मार्केट में आग लग गई थी. अभी पूरा रेडी मार्केट जल गया था. So this couple had a shop there. एंड रात को आग लगी, सुबह उठ के उनको पता चला कि आग लग गई, सब कुछ जल भुन के राख हो गया, एवरीथिंग वाज ओवर. उनके शॉप में तो बहुत ही नुकसान हुआ. द सेम डे आई रिमेंबर वी वर अबाउट टू स्टार्ट अ DYS कोर्स फॉर कॉन्ग्रीगेशन. इट वाज अबाउट दिस लास्ट जन्माष्टमी, आफ्टर दिस लास्ट जन्माष्टमी, और मे बी लास्ट टू लास्ट जन्माष्टमी, नॉट दिस लास्ट जन्माष्टमी. So I was about to, I can give you a real live example about this. So this lady had taken many services in that DYS for cooking services. And as soon as I got to know in the morning, I spoke to them, I went to them, I talked to them, I just consoled them and asked them, ठीक है आज आप सर्विस रहने दो, मैं अपने आप मैनेज कर लूँ. नहीं प्रभु जी, वो तो छिन गया, अभी ये भी छीन लेंगे तो कैसे चलेगा. आई वॉन्ट टू कुक फॉर डिवोटीज. दिस इज स्थित प्रज्ञा. आई वॉन्ट टू कुक फॉर डिवोटीज. लेट one who is not disturbed in mind even amidst the threefold miseries. She had a big misery. It's a big thing, not a small thing. The source of earning is over. How Krishna supports such people, that also was shown in this example. It was it gave me realizations, a great understanding of how Krishna protects such people. One who is not disturbed in mind even amidst the threefold miseries. She was not disturbed. She said, I will do my service. And she did it. And everyone had prasad. And definitely everyone was glorifying her. Everyone was appreciating that even in such a situation she is ready to serve. This is the true definition of this line, one who is not disturbed in the mind even amidst the threefold miseries. Now how Krishna supported? The second part came. Now there was an apprehension that earlier these shops had teen sheds. कच्चे थे ये, मतलब पक्के नहीं थे, टीन शेड्स थे. अब सरकार ने क्या बोला कि अब हम पक्के दुकानें बना देंगे और सबको दुकानें अलॉट कर देंगे. So everyone had an understanding कि मेरी दुकान जिस जगह थी उसी जगह मुझे मिलेगी. तो अगेन द हस्बैंड वॉज लिटिल बिट डिस्टर्ब्ड कि प्रभु जी कैसे होगा, उसी जगह दुकान मिलेगी कि नहीं मिलेगी, उस पर्टिकुलर जगह पे ही मुझे चाहिए, वही मेरा बिजनेस अच्छा था, तो उस जगह मिलेगी कि नहीं मिलेगी. So just randomly I spoke up, Prabhu, your wife has shown such a surrender. Don't worry, you will get better than this. That's what I just replied randomly out of some conviction. Because such a surrender I have never seen in life, in anyone's attitude. That so much has happened and still the person is stable. Chanting 16 rounds. She chanted 16 rounds. She read her Bhagavad Gita. She did heavy services of cooking. Everything was good. As good as this lady was a brahmachari. As good as that. And then the husband just spoke to me. He was continuously on my touch and he said कि प्रभु जी कोई अप्रोच वगैरह लगवाइए कि मतलब ऐसा ना हो जाए कि कुछ अंदर को दे दे हमें शॉप बिल्कुल, या ऐसे कुछ हो जाए तो इट्स गोइंग टू बी अ बिग डील, मेरा पूरा बिजनेस ही चौपट हो जाएगा, ये हो जाएगा. I just said, have some patience. Your wife has shown a big surrender. Let's depend on Krishna's plan. Now the day came when there was this pick and choose lottery system. The mayor or maybe someone, there was the box in which everyone's name was there and शॉप नंबर को सीक्वेंस में बोला जा रहा था और जिसका स्लिप उठता था, जिस बंदे के नाम का स्लिप उठता था वो शॉप नंबर उसका. तो शॉप नंबर 1 स्लिप उठाया दिस पर्सन, शॉप नंबर 2 दिस पर्सन, शॉप नंबर 3 लकी ड्रॉ की तरह उठाया दिस पर्सन, शॉप नंबर 4 उठाया दिस पर्सन. एंड फाइनली this person got the shop on the front face of the market, right in front of the main market of 9th sector. A much better place than what he had already on the front face. And the value of this property, the front face property, is currently approx 1 crore plus than the properties that the properties that are there inside. And had he got the same place, the value would have been lower. So this is how Krishna supports. But you have to show him stability. When the time of testing comes, you have to show him stability. You have to show him that, okay, let whatever may come, I am determined that I want to come to you. I want to get out of this repeated cycle of birth and death. You have to be determined. Today there is this problem, tomorrow there will be some other problem. Let me not be disturbed by it. It's going to happen in any case. ना तो दुख बुलाने से आया है और ना ही सुख बुलाने से आएगा. सब अपनी मर्जी से आया है. So let me be steady. And Krishna is absolutely pleased with such people. What happened? Yani. Krishna is absolutely pleased with such people who during the times of testing, see, happiness and distress, both are the testing times. Who at the time of testing continue with their sadhana very strongly. Who at the time of testing don't waste their time. Prabhu, थोड़ी देर बात कर लेना please. Who at the time of testing, Krishna is very pleased with such people. Who at the time of testing, in the happiness, they are not too elated to leave their sadhana. And in the distress, they are not too sorrowful to leave their sadhana. Krishna, to such people, Krishna protects whatever he has and Krishna gives whatever he doesn't have. Coming to the next one, text 55. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, okay, no, 56. One who is not disturbed in mind even amidst the threefold miseries or elated when there is happiness, who is free from attachment, fear and anger, is called Sthita Pragya, sage of steady mind. In the material world, text 57, one who is unaffected by whatever good or evil he may obtain, जो मिल रहा आने दो, वैसे भी तो रोक नहीं सकते, तो उसको सोच के भी क्या फायदा. Whatever good or evil he may obtain, neither praising it nor despising it. Firmly, he is firmly fixed in the perfect knowledge. This is Sthita Pragya, stable person, person of steady mind. Text 58. One who is able to withdraw his senses from the sense objects, as the tortoise withdraws its limbs when within its shell. देखा कभी? जैसे कोई अटैक लगता है टॉर्टोइस को, कि कोई अटैक करने वाला, टॉर्टोइस क्या करता है? फटाफट अपना सारा वो जो होता है उसका बहुत हार्ड होता है, जो शेल होता है, उसके ऊपर आप 100 किलो का पत्थर भी फेंक दोगे वो टूटेगा नहीं, शेल इतना हार्ड होता है. उस शेल के अंदर वो अपने आप को विड्रॉ कर लेता है. सो व्हेनेवर you see the objects of sense gratification, You should withdraw like a tortoise immediately. One who is able to withdraw his senses from sense objects, as the tortoise draws its limbs from within the shell, is firmly fixed in perfect consciousness. Text 59. Though the embodied soul may be restricted from sense enjoyment, the taste of sense objects remains. प्रभु जी, मैं कोशिश तो बहुत करता हूँ छोड़ने की, पर बार बार दिमाग में आता रहता है sense gratification. So you have to, what you have to do, you have to withdraw like a tortoise. Let it come. Like once one devotee was giving a very nice example. Like once this devotee was giving one example. What was it exactly? Yes. So see, a lion is there, and have I discussed this example earlier in these classes? So one lion is there, say, and very hungry, and you show him a loaf of meat from a far distance. What will he do? But there is a cage in which he's there. You show him, he will get very ferocious. And he will जोर जोर से वो दहाड़ना शुरू कर देगा उसको देखकर कि मुझे ये चाहिए. And slowly and steadily what will happen? धीरे धीरे उसके जीभ से लार गिरनी शुरू हो जाएगी. पहले दहाड़ रहा था, फिर लार गिरनी शुरू हुई, फिर शांत हो जाएगा. So that lion is compared to our needs of sense gratification. The lion is compared basically to our mind, and that loaf is compared to a sense object. अब वो लायन को आप दूर से दिखा रहे हो सेंस ऑब्जेक्ट, पर वो खा नहीं पा रहा उसको. वो दहाड़ के क्या हो जाएगा? थक जाएगा, माइंड थक जाएगा. अब दूर से उसको सेंस ऑब्जेक्ट दिख रहा है, पर वो उसको खा नहीं पा रहा. क्या होगा? दहाड़ के थक जाएगा, फिर सो जाएगा. पर अगर वो लोफ उसको दे दिया उसी टाइम, तो वो और शक्तिशाली होकर अगली बार और जोर से दहाड़ेगा. समझे मेरी बात? You understand the analogy? Mind and that loaf of meat is like sense object, and that lion is like mind. Mind may desire 10 things. If you restrain, if you stop giving it, then what will happen? दहाड़ के एक दिन थक जाएगा, सो जाएगा. बट अगर दे दोगे ना, तो अगली बार और शक्ति से दहाड़ेगा और आपको फंसाए रखेगा. As it is said, for the non-devotees, mind is the greatest enemy, and for a devotee, mind is the best friend. So, फिलहाल mind की क्या situation है? Enemy बना हुआ हमारा. Sense gratification. But as you associate, as you chant, as you read, as you hear, the mind will become the friend. One who is able to withdraw his senses from sense object as a tortoise draws its limb when within the shell is firmly fixed in perfect consciousness. Though the embodied soul may be restricted from sense enjoyment, the taste of sense object remains. But seizing such engagement, our process is not just about seizing such engagement. That I will not taste this sense object. Our process is on what basis you will seize this. But seizing such engagements by experiencing a higher taste. How will you will be able to seize such engagements of senses? By being in the association of devotees, where you get a higher taste, is fixed in consciousness. The senses are so strong, Bhagwan keh rahe hain, the senses are so strong and impetuous, O Arjun, that they forcibly carry away the mind even of a man of discrimination who is endeavoring to control them. One who restrains his senses, keeping them in full control, and fixes his consciousness upon me, is a mind of sthita pragya, steady intellect, a man of steady intelligence. While contemplating, आगे contemplating वाली बात, सोचना. While contemplating the objects of senses, a person develops attachment for them, and from such attachment, lust develops, and from lust, anger develops. So where is the problem, Prabhu? Where is the problem? Is the problem in sense object? No. Is the problem in mind? No. The problem is in one thing: contemplation. Stop thinking. Let it come as a passing thought and let it move. Don't create so many images in your mind. Otherwise, it will spoil your spirituality. So, come to text 67. As a strong wind, text 67. As a strong wind sweeps away a boat on water. एक नदी में जैसे एक तालाब में जैसे बोट होता है और हवा के साथ वो इधर उधर घूमता है. As a strong wind sweeps away a boat on the water, even one of the roaming senses on which mind focuses, एक भी roaming sense, चाहे वो कान है, चाहे आंख है, चाहे नोज है, चाहे माउथ है, चाहे स्किन है, किसी भी एक सेंस पे भी भगवान कह रहे हैं ऐसा, even one of the roaming senses on which mind contemplates or focuses can carry away a man's intelligence. बैल बुद्धि बना के रख देता है उसको. Understand? Text 70, very important one again. A person who is not disturbed by the incessant flow of desires. बोला ना? Desires, let it come. It's an incessant flow. जैसे कि river ocean में मिलता है तो incessant flow चलता है. But is the ocean disturbed? ओशन तो कभी ऐसा देखो ओशन ओवरफ्लो कर गया, कभी सुना ओशन में फ्लड आ गया, कभी सुना नहीं. कहां फ्लड आता है? रिवर्स में ना, है ना. इंसेसेंट फ्लो आता है रिवर्स का, फिर भी ओशन उतना ही दिखता है, स्टेबल रहता है. क्या लिखा है? अ पर्सन हु हैज गिवन अप हिज डिजायर्स फॉर ना, अ पर्सन हु इज नॉट डिस्टर्ब्ड बाय द इंसेसेंट फ्लो ऑफ डिजायर्स दैट एंटर्स लाइक रिवर्स इनटू ओशंस व्हिच इज एवर बीइंग फिल्ड बट इज ऑलवेज स्टिल. ओशन हमेशा स्टिल रहता है. ऐसा व्यक्ति जिसके माइंड में बहुत सारे डिजायर्स तो आते हैं बट वो ओशन के जैसा क्या रहता है? स्टेबल. डिजायर्स को किससे कंपेयर किया गया? रिवर से. और माइंड को किससे क्या करा गया? ओशन से. तो जिस प्रकार से जैसे रिवर्स फ्लो करते हैं ओशंस में और ओशन फिर भी स्टेबल रहता है, क्या कह रहे हैं? सच अ पर्सन, जितने डिजायर्स आ रहे हैं आने दो, पर माइंड को स्टेबल रहने दो ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ अ हायर टेस्ट. सच अ पर्सन कैन अलोन अचीव पीस एंड नॉट द मैन. ऐसा पर्सन कभी पीसफुल नहीं हो सकता. एंड नॉट द मैन हु स्ट्राइव्स टू सैटिस्फाई सच डिजायर्स. जो इन डिजायर्स के पीछे भागना शुरू कर देता है वो कभी भी सेटिस्फाइड नहीं रह सकता. Understand? So what should be our New Year resolution? What should be our New Year resolution? Withdraw for your own good. Withdraw your senses from sense objects on the basis of higher taste. The way the tortoise withdraws its limbs. Whenever you see the sense object, you should create that image in your mind where tortoise is withdrawing his limbs. एक YouTube पे वीडियो देख लेना जिसमें tortoise अपने limbs withdraw करे और वो इमेज अपने माइंड में घुमाना जब सेंस ऑब्जेक्ट सामने आए. Let me withdraw quickly. I have to save myself. I have to save myself from this nonsense happening over here. Understand? भक्ति के 64 अंग होते हैं. कितने? 64. 64 में से 5 मुख्य हैं. आप इनमें से जो भी रेजोल्यूशंस उठाना चाहें उठा सकते हैं, क्योंकि मैं ये नहीं चाह रहा हूं कि आप लोग रेजोल्यूशंस लें अपने मेंटल कंकॉक्शन के बेसिस पे. आप रेजोल्यूशन लें भक्ति के अंगों को. 64 में से मैं 5 मुख्य अंग बता रहा हूं भक्ति के 64. 1 is, as you know, चैंटिंग द मोस्ट इम्पॉर्टेंट। एंड जो लोग चैंटिंग में वो पिछले पूरे सालों का हिसाब करना चाहते हैं, वैसा कुछ ले सकते हैं कि इस एक साल में मैं अपनी लाइफ के स्टार्टिंग के 2 सालों की चैंटिंग या 1 साल की चैंटिंग कंप्लीट कर लूंगा। मरने से पहले कम से कम मेरी पूरी लाइफ चैंटिंग तो हो रखी हो, हर दिन ऐसा निकला हो कि चैंटिंग हुई है मैंने। बट अगेन यू हैव टू हैव अ बैलेंस्ड अप्रोच। ऐसे नहीं कि पढ़ाई लिखाई छोड़ी, है ना, ये ज्यादा आसान है, कर लेते। डू योर ड्यूटीज व्हाइल सर्विंग कृष्णा। जो टाइम आप यूज करते हो ना इंस्टाग्राम के रील्स को ऊपर नीचे करने, वो टाइम यूज करो अपने जीवन के स्टार्टिंग के ईयर्स को चैंटिंग से भरने के लिए। जिस दिन से जन्म हुआ उस दिन से चैंटिंग कंप्लीट होनी चाहिए। First is chanting. You can take a resolution that okay, I will complete my 3 months old chanting, or I will complete my 6 months old chanting for in this year. This is my resolution. Make a copy and start writing your extra rounds. Okay, I was born on what date you were born? 18th May 2000. So 18th May 2000. This is my first date. I have done 3 rounds extra today. 3 written plus 4 plus 5. As soon as 16 over, go to the next date. Let me complete minimum 3 months of my old life in this year, or 4 months, or 5 months, or 6 months. As have some targets. Keep the target low if you think you cannot do much. Okay. And those who are not currently chanting 16, they should think of going on it from 1st January. That could be the good New Year resolution, a very good New Year resolution. Now moving ahead in my forward life, I will chant 16 rounds daily from 1 January 2024. I will make my life happy. Second, have targets that what will I complete in Prabhupada books in this year. In reading, what will I complete? I will complete Bhagavatam 1st canto. I will complete 2 cantos of Bhagavatam. I will complete Bhagavad Gita and 1 canto. This depends, it varies from person to person. Have that target and start moving towards that target. Again, not at the cost of your duties. They have to go simultaneous. You have to withdraw not from your duties. You have to withdraw from your unnecessary time wastage. And see, everything will be possible. Chanting, then reading, then third one, worshipping Tulsi daily. Bhakti Devi. She will give bhakti. Worship Tulsi, give some water, offer obeisances, and you can burn a deepak to Tulsi Devi. Something for Tulsi Devi daily. This is third mukhya ang out of 64. What was the first one out of 64? Chanting. Second is reading. Third is worshipping Tulsi. सबके घर में होगी ना तुलसी देवी, तो वर्शिप करिए उन्हें, बहुत अच्छा कॉन्शियसनेस दे देंगी तुलसी महारानी। एक पर्सन मैंने देखा, बहुत ही लस्टी पर्सन था, बट वो भक्त बनना चाहता था। कईयों का सवाल आता, प्रभु जी बहुत लस्ट है, क्या करें क्या करें? तुलसी देवी की सेवा करनी शुरू करो। मैंने उसको बोला था, आप रोज तुलसी महारानी का परिक्रमा करा करो 108 टाइम्स, चैंटिंग करते रहो, और रोज तुलसी महारानी को जल ऑफर किया करो। धीरे धीरे लस्ट उसका खत्म हो गया। वो कह रहे प्रभु जी अब लस्टी डिजायर्स आते ही नहीं है माइंड में। सो रीडिंग, चैंटिंग, तुलसी वर्शिप, देन एसोसिएटिंग विद डिवोटीज। 64 में से ये सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट है। ऐसे नहीं होना चाहिए इस नए साल में कि एक दिन चले गए 10 दिन नहीं गए भक्तों के बीच में। पूरा कॉन्शियसनेस रूइन हो जाता है अच्छी तरीके से। एंड लास्ट इज वर्शिपिंग द डीटी, भगवान के विग्रहों की सेवा। बट आई थिंक आप लोगों के पास विग्रह नहीं है और अभी लाने की भी जरूरत नहीं है, वरना रसिया बन जाओगे अभी। तो अभी जब तक दीक्षा नहीं होती है इसके ऊपर नहीं मूव करना चाहिए। विद एन अंडरस्टैंडिंग वी शुड सर्व द डीटीज। तो फिलहाल वर्शिपिंग डीटीज का आपके लिए क्या मतलब है? ऑफ एंड ऑन बलि स्वरूप प्रभु से पूछते रहिए, आप ये डिसाइड करिए कि हफ्ते में कम से कम या 10 दिन में या 15 दिन में एक दिन थोड़ा 1 घंटा में राधा वृंदावन चंद्र की कोई पर्सनल सर्विस करके आऊंगा। जैसे बर्तन मांज के आऊंगा भगवान के, जैसे भगवान के जो बैकअप किचन्स वगैरह वहां पे पोछा लगा कर आऊंगा, जैसे टेम्पल हॉल में झाड़ू मार के आऊंगा। दिस इज डीटी वर्शिप फॉर यू। These 5 things will give you perfect advancement in this life. We will review the situation again on 31st December 2024. एक साल के आपके लिए डीटी वर्शिप ये बलि स्वरूप प्रभु को आप लोग कांटेक्ट कर सकते हैं कि प्रभु जी ने बोला कि डीटी वर्शिप करना है, तो आप बताइए हम क्या आपकी हेल्प करें डीटी वर्शिप में। तो 10 दिन में सब एक बार सर्विस करेंगे, हर 10 दिन में करेंगे। सभी कितने लोग करेंगे डीटीज का पर्सनल सर्विस करेंगे? रिवोल, ठीक है। इसके लिए आपको बलि स्वरूप प्रभु को कांटेक्ट करना है। एनी क्वेश्चंस?
तुलसी वर्शिप टेंपल में कर सकते हैं।
हाँ, कहीं पे भी करिए, तुलसी तो तुलसी।
एक टेक्स्ट 60 में मैन ऑफ डिस्क्रिमिनेशन का मतलब क्या है?
जो अच्छे बुरे का फर्क समझता है।
तो जैसे आपने बोला कि हम सेंस ऑब्जेक्ट्स कोई आते हैं जैसे सामने अर्ज क्रिएट करते हैं।
क्लास है? हरे कृष्ण। वापस आ जाना। किस टाइम तक है? प्रभु इच्छा तक। प्रभु इच्छा तक। संजय सर आप है, लाइव क्लास है तो परेशान ही कर देते हैं। ठीक है, अगर देखो जल्दी फ्री हो जाओ, मैराथन में चले जाओ।
जी आपने कहा कि इस पे कंटेम्पलेट नहीं करना चाहिए।
सुधांशु प्रभु, हाँ दिखाएंगे, प्रोजेक्टर तो लगाया नहीं। तो कल इवनिंग में थोड़ा फ्री टाइम रखना। 1 जनवरी का फंक्शन कल है, यहाँ पे हम कल कर रहे हैं। कल फूड फेस्टिवल भी होगा यहाँ पे। खाना फूड फेस्टिवल में वो भी होगा कल। बढ़िया बढ़िया आइटम्स बन रहे और कीर्तन भी बहुत अच्छा होगा कल इवनिंग में। तो कल सब टाइम फ्री रखें वैष्णव ड्रेस में, ठीक है। हरे कृष्ण। क्या एक मिनट क्वेश्चन अब करो, प्रोजेक्ट सेट करो।
तो जी जैसे हायर टेस्ट को अपना बेस बनाना चाहिए। लाइक आपने तो डिवोटी एसोसिएशन, जैसे डिवोटीज एसोसिएशन और डिवोशनल सर्विस चैंटिंग वगैरह, तो हायर टेस्ट डेवलप करना चाहिए, तभी हम वो कंटेम्पलेशन छोड़ पाएंगे। तो जी लेकिन ऐसा क्यों होता है कि
कंटेम्पलेशन तो फोर्सफुली छोड़ना पड़ेगा प्रभु। हायर टेस्ट जब आएगा जब भक्तों के संग में रहोगे। और कंटेम्पलेशन पे तो थोड़ा तो देखो, ऐसे नहीं कि हम तो बैठ जाएंगे अपने आप कंटेम्पलेशन होना बंद हो जाएगा, नहीं, थोड़ा तो एफर्ट भी करना पड़ेगा। अच्छा चलो, आप पूछ क्या रहते हैं? मिल गया आपको आपका
मतलब प्रभु जी, लेकिन ऐसा क्यों होता है कि हम वो विल कहाँ से आएगी छोड़ने की? क्योंकि इतनी ज्यादा स्ट्रॉन्ग डिजायर नहीं है कि हाँ हम कंटेम्पलेशन छोड़ दें। वो एक स्ट्रॉन्ग डिजायर होती है, तो विल के बिना तो कुछ होगा।
जब तक भक्तों का संग रेगुलर नहीं करोगे तब तक वो और भक्तों के संग में आने के बाद भी सालों लग सकते हैं। हमें नहीं पता ना कितने समय का ये मैल जमा हुआ है। इस लाइफ का थोड़ी है, कितने सारे लाइफ्स का ये मैल जमा हुआ। मैल साफ होने में टाइम तो लगेगा, हो जाएगा एक दिन साफ। हैव फेथ ऑन प्रोसेस। अंडरस्टैंड? एनी अदर क्वेश्चन? ओके, तो ये डिवोटीज ने रिवाइंड बनाया है इस पूरे साल का IYF का एक वीडियो, तो वो हम आपको दिखाएंगे। फिर प्रसाद लेते हैं। आज कितने लोग मैराथन, आज मैराथन हो रहा है? कितने लोग आज मैराथन में पार्टिसिपेट कर रहे हैं? आज मैराथन में कितने डिवोटीज हो रहा है ना मैराथन प्रभु? मैराथन हो रहा है ना? 3 बजे से लेके आज शॉर्ट करेंगे, 3 बजे से 5 बजे तक। कितने लोग पार्टिसिपेट कर रहे हैं मैराथन में आज? 1 2 कुणाल गौरव प्रभु तो रोज ही करते हैं, सबको करना चाहिए। 3 4 साल का आखिरी दिन है, मैराथन में सब पार्टिसिपेट करिए। 4 और कौन कर रहा है मैराथन में पार्टिसिपेट? अरे प्रार्थना कर लेना, 2 घंटे मैराथन करो, मैनेज इट आउट। एवरीवन शुड पार्टिसिपेट इन मैराथन टुडे। स्पर्श प्रभु, ट्राई टू पार्टिसिपेट। लास्ट डे ऑफ द ईयर, Here also. करण प्रभु जा रहे हैं मैराथन पे? शिवम जा रहे हो? कितने लोग जा रहे हैं? हाथ रेज करो। वेरी गुड, हरी बोल। कपिल प्रभु की जय। कितने लोग जा रहे हैं? देखो उन्होंने भी हाथ रेज कर लिया। और कितने कौन जा रहे हैं उधर? जतिन प्रभु। चिराग आहूजा को लेकर जाओ, पकड़ पकड़ के लेकर जाओ सबको मैराथन पे। आज 31 दिसंबर है, आज पूरी दुनिया सड़क पे निकली हुई होगी। खूब डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन हो सकती है, आज बड़ी टीम जानी चाहिए। इनको लेकर जाओ, यश प्रभु को। गए मैराथन पे अभी तक? कोई नहीं, 2 hours आज स्पेंड करो सब प्रसाद लेकर। इधर से सारांश गोइंग इन मैराथन। सुरेंद्र गोइंग इन मैराथन। गुड, चला लो वीडियो। ये वीडियो दिखाना चाहते हैं डिवोटीज आपको। इन लोगों ने IYF पंचकुला का 1 साल का रिवाइंड बनाया। सब बैठ जाइए आराम से और देखिए। लाइट्स ऑफ कर दीजिए सारे बेस का। आगे आगे आ सकते हैं तो क्लियर नजर आएगा। अच्छा, इसके लिए स्पीकर आया है।
बाय चांस